Welcome to our video today. We're going to be talking about audit documentation and the 60-day rule. According to Google, and therefore it must be true, a Greek gentleman whose name I don't think I can pronounce is attributed for saying, "The only constant in life is change." This is very true in our profession. If you don't like change or don't want to deal with it, that may be understandable, but it is here to stay. Okay, let's get started by reading AUC 230, paragraph 16. The auditor should assemble the audit documentation in an audit file and complete the administrative process of assembling the audit file on a timely basis, no later than 60 days following the report release date. So, based on this, we have 60 days after our audit report is issued to complete the audit work. Right? Wrong. No, that's not the case. So let's learn a little more about this today. Let's continue reading paragraph 826. The completion of the assembly of the final audit file after the date of the auditor's report is an administrative process that does not involve the performance of new audit procedures or the drawing of new conclusions. Changes may, however, be made to the audit documentation during the final assembly process if they are administrative in nature. Examples of such changes include deleting or discarding superseded documents, sorting, collating, and cross-referencing work papers, signing off on completion checklists related to the file assembly process, documenting audit evidence that the auditor has obtained, discussed, and agreed with the relevant members of the engagement team before the date of the auditor's report, adding information received after the date of the auditor's report, for example, an original confirmation that was previously communicated electronically. Now let's look at which of these cannot be completed prior to issuing. Most of the time, deleting or discarding superseded documents can and should be done during the review process, which definitely needs to be completed prior to issuing the audit report. Can something change at the last moment just prior to issuing? Yes. But this should be the exception, not the rule. Again, most of the time, sorting, collating, and cross-referencing working papers can and should be done prior to the review process, which needs to be completed prior to issuing the audit report. Each auditor completing a portion of the audit work papers needs to complete a self-review. This self-review should correct these types of issues. If things are missed, they should be corrected during the review process. The signing off on completion checklists relating to the file assembly process will be very difficult to complete prior to issuing the report. It will generally be more efficient to just do it after the audit report is issued. Most of the time, documenting audit evidence can and should be done prior to the review process, which needs to be completed prior to issuing the audit report. There will be times when review notes will trigger additional questions or procedures right at the end of field work. But even then, most of these can and should be documented prior to issuing the audit report. Adding information received after the date of the audit report, for example, an original confirmation that was previously communicated electronically. Placing documents into the work papers which were received in the mail after the audit has been issued, but which we already obviously cannot be done until after the audit report has been issued. So, only 2 of the 5 items listed cannot be completed prior to the audit report being issued. Most of the time, the other 3 can and should be completed before the audit report is issued. Before I go any further, let's read AUC 238, paragraph 7 and A3. The auditor should prepare audit documentation on a timely basis. Preparing sufficient and appropriate audit documentation on a timely basis throughout the audit helps to enhance the quality of the audit and facilitates the effective review and evaluation of the audit evidence obtained and conclusions reached before the auditor's report is finalized. Documentation prepared at the time such work is performed or shortly thereafter is likely to be more accurate than documentation prepared at a much later time. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest that we make a habit of having our work papers done prior to issuing the audit report, except those things which cannot be done. A few other things we want to cover. After the documentation completion date, the auditor should not delete or discard audit documentation of any nature before the end of the specified retention period. Such retention period, however, should not be shorter than 5 years from the report release date. Statutes, regulations, or the audit firm's quality control policies may specify a period shorter than 60 days following the report release date in which the assembly process is to be completed. Certain matters such as auditor independence and staff training, which are not engagement specific, may be documented either centrally within a firm or in the audit documentation for an audit engagement. The inverse of this is also true. If something is related to a specific engagement, it should be documented in that engagement's audit file. If this is not done, then we should include in our audit file a document describing where the document is located. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time today. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach me at phyl.warnock@harshwal.com as listed on the screen.